Even before Friday's shooting, Hartford, Connecticut's mayor was trying to stem gun crime. What is he and others doing now? We'll have that and more right here, right now on Digits. Good afternoon and welcome. I'm Simon Constable. We're going to go straight to that mayor. It's Mayor Pedro Segarra. He comes to us from Hartford. I'm going to start with him. Mayor, obviously awful day Friday, but even before that, you were operating a gun buyback program. How did that work and what was the intent?
Well, the intent of that gun buyback program was to try to get as many guns off of our streets. It's done in cooperation with the three major area hospitals. And we're a small city relatively, and compared to many other cities, we're 125,000 persons. And we were basically buying back one weapon per minute. So that gives you an idea of both the willingness of the community to turn back into guns, but also the prevalence of weapons out in the community.
And what mainly were you getting? Was it revolvers, pistols, rifles?
We were getting a little bit of everything. We didn't get any the assault sort of weapons, the bigger caliber, high assault weapons, but we did get a lot of handguns, pistols, automatic revolvers, rifles, shotguns.
Now, has that had the effect of reducing crime noticeably yet?
Well, I think that what we've done, we've been operating several different programs. We've had a shooting task force that has had a very high resolution rate in terms of moving from 23% of crimes resolved to over 67%. So there's been a significant increase in resolving crimes. The shooting task force has also worked to intervene very strategically in discouraging future shootings by having a joint task force with other players, other surrounding police chiefs, the state, probation, parole, the courts. So it's been a very highly effective program that has led to a high reduction of shootings in our city. That, along with the gun buyback program, putting some more resources towards youth activities, a record number of dollars that are being spent on unemployment programs, all contribute to reducing and hopefully eliminating the need for so many people to feel that they need to be armed.
Okay, well, stay with us, Mayor Segarra. We've also got Jonathan Lowry from the Brady Center for Gun Violence. He joins us now from Washington, D.C. Jonathan, thank you for joining us. Would an assault weapons ban have made any difference in this case?
Well, it might have. I mean, the shooter apparently used 30-round ammunition magazines, and we've seen in most of these mass shootings, people come equipped with high-capacity magazines so they could fire a lot without reloading. And those sorts of magazines were banned under the federal assault weapon ban. So it is possible. I do think, though, it's important in a case like this for us to step back and realize that we have a huge problem of gun violence in this country. 100,000 people are shot every year, 30,000 are killed, and most of those are not in these high-profile cases that make the national news. So in setting policy, I think we have to look at the big picture, not just how would we have prevented the latest high-profile tragedy.
And what changes are you suggesting? And obviously the Brady Center, it is also the same name as the Brady Bill, which went through to give the 5-day waiting period for handgun purchases. What other changes would you want?
Well, I think one thing is requiring background checks for all gun sales. The Brady law required background checks for gun sales by licensed gun dealers, but 40% of gun sales in this country are done by private sellers. There's no background check, no questions asked. So you can be a convicted felon just out of prison or a dangerously mentally ill person, buy a gun from private seller, no check, no questions, no record. Okay. And there's broad public support for that.
Stay with us. I want to go back to Mayor Segarra. Mayor, what changes would you want to see to help with this situation?
Well, I would definitely push for a ban against these assault weapons that really have this high capacity for destruction. Also, the capacity of these weapons to be tracked between states and more capacity for uniformity so that people don't migrate out of one state to shop for guns in another state and then bring them back into our state. We have a tougher law in our state regarding gun sales and waiting periods, but it doesn't eliminate the possibility for someone to travel outside the state to other states that have more lenient requirements and then import them back into our states.
So, Mayor Segarra, here in New York City, we have very tough gun regulations, and yet we still have gun crime. Do you think that that is partly because other states don't have such strict rules?
Well, that's part of it, but I think that we need to get a more global strategy around the issue of guns. There's a lot of work that needs to be done in terms of organizing our communities and informing each other of the dangers. There's a need for a more collaborative and more efficient mental health system to deal with those folks that are prone to commit acts of violence and try to reach those folks. So I wouldn't say that there's one particular thing that's going to work in this scenario. There's a lot of room for a lot of improvements and using a multi-systems approach to get us to a better place. Okay,
Mayor Segarra, thank you very much. Let's go now back to Jonathan Lowry. Jonathan, mental health was mentioned as an issue and getting folks mental health care. That seems to be a recurrent theme we have. Do you think we need more mental health care for people in the U.S. society so that they can be well?
Definitely. I mean, we need to have a holistic, comprehensive approach to this problem. But part of it, and a big part of it, is access to guns. Because the fact is, people in other countries also have mental health problems. They also have violence and impulse control problems. They're exposed to the same violent video games and entertainment that we have in this country. I mean, all those are issues that should be talked about. But the fact is, what's unique about the United States is we have this huge level of lethal violence because of the easy access to firearms. But I think we do have to have a conversation about the access of the mentally ill to guns for their own sake as well as for the rest of us.
Okay, well, we have to leave it there. Thank you very much, Jonathan Lowry from the Brady Center for the Prevention of Gun Violence. We appreciate your time today.
Thank you. Bye.